I'm about to show y'all the ugliest helicopter, the worst helicopter ever made. What is this? Like, what is this supposed to be? I don't even understand what their end goal was in this whole entire ordeal of making this helicopter, because it's actually made from this one. They're the same helicopter. You can even see that they have the same tail rotor and actual main rotor design. But they absolutely butchered this thing. I don't, like, seriously, I have no idea what this thing is supposed to be for. Because according to the information that we know, this is supposed to be some kind of a light reconnaissance helicopter. But do they not know that you can just take one of these and, put rockets on it? Like, is that a concept that's unfamiliar with them? Because in case if y'all don't know, there's another version of the Bell 206 that we're looking at right here called the Kiowa. It's literally just a heavily improved Bell 206. You can see right here. And it looks good, and it looks a lot like the original helicopter it's based off of right here. But it can also carry rockets, and maybe a gun. The same thing that this ugly thing can do. But they didn't have to go and absolutely neuter the design of the original helicopter to make it operate like this. I have no idea why in the world the Iranians would make something that ugly and take a helicopter that would have been able to do the job anyways, and then cut it down to a single-seater helicopter as well. There's no co-pilot, it's just one pilot in this crappy helicopter, and that's it. And he either has to make this thing work or not. It's all up to him. And of course, there's a couple of single-seat helicopters that I can think of out there in the world, but I don't think anyone in real life anymore uses them. In fact, no one uses one-seat helicopters anymore, come to think of it, except the Iranians. They're the only one. I'm like, y'all don't know how blown away I am by this. And if you look at it, it's according to Wikipedia, it's a light attack reconnaissance helicopter. Light attack? That rocket pod, let's assume that it has one on each side. This rocket pod holds 7 missiles. So in total, this thing's got 14 unguided rockets that it can fire, and it's got a 50 caliber machine gun in the front of the nose that can hardly rotate. So this thing's pretty much got to be looking right at what it wants to shoot, or it's not going to hit it. And that is what they made out of that? I mean, it's a waste of time. It also comes in 2 variants. 2 variants for what? Apparently, it can actually launch Shahed. It either uses 2 Kosars or 8 Shahed-1 anti-ship missiles. It relies on a multifunction display. How in the hell do you get a multifunction display in something that looks like it's made on Kerbal Space Program? This helicopter just absolutely makes no sense. And also, if you look at the specs of it, it's not that great either. Its cruise speed is 120 miles an hour. If you look at a Kiowa, which is, once again, a largely improved Bell 206, for the most part, and if we scroll down to its specs, also you can see right there, the prototype for the Kiowa. It's lucky that they didn't actually work off of that. And you can also see, just so that you can see, that both of these are developed off the same prototype. The Bell 206 came from the very same prototype design initially. And so, of course, they're probably a little different. The Kiowa's got a lot more differences than just normal Bell 206, but they're still developed off of the same thing. And if we go down here to the bottom and look at the Kiowa, it performs better than this thing. Its top speed, its maximum speed is 149 miles per hour. It's just 1 mile per hour slower than this thing. Its cruise speed is actually about 10 miles an hour faster. This one's around 120 miles per hour. This one is around 127. The range on the Kiowa is actually, I think, let's see, the range on this one's 544 miles. The range on this one is 161 miles. But once again, here's something that isn't really making much sense to me. This thing has a range of 161 miles, or an endurance of 2 hours. But the 285, which is smaller and has less room for fuel, is purported to have a range 3 times longer than the Kiowa. And that I find very hard to believe, because if you look at this helicopter, tell me, using the exact same engine with less fuel capacity, that it could travel 3 times the distance. It wouldn't be able to. That's not true. So it looks like that number may be a little bit fibbed. Its service ceiling is 13,650 feet. The service ceiling of this one's actually higher. And this one, of course, since it's an American helicopter, it can carry more. For example, it can actually carry Hellfires, which are pretty nice, but only 2 of them. Still, it makes no sense as to why they would go and butcher this thing so badly, a Bell 206, to turn it into this, when you could have easily tried, probably with the same amount of effort, to just take a Bell 206 and then turn it into something similar to a Kiowa, or just attach the same weapons onto it. This is an Iranian attempt to try and make a helicopter that appeals to their public, who probably has no idea what outside militaries outside of Iran really look like, and make the Iranian public think that the Iranian military is incredibly strong, and they have all of these attack helicopters, but this is what they really are. There's not a lot of attack helicopters in the Iranian military, and from what we know, we don't even know how many of these things have been produced, at least according to Wikipedia. And if you go look at the Iran Army equipment, it gets even worse. I'll show y'all real quick. We're going to scroll all the way down past these weapons. We're going to get all the way down here. Also, notice the buggy with the rims and the minigun. These guys, they must be part of the Revolutionary Guard. Anyways, we're going to keep on moving down. To get down here to the little helicopter, that ugly thing. So here it is. According to this page, there's 43 of these things. So they actually make up about a third of the entirety of Iran's helicopter force. The rest of it is made up of different kinds of Cobras. You can see right here, this is an AH-1 Cobra. It kind of looks like an AH-1F, or maybe even a little bit more of a different one. Maybe something closer to a Super Cobra. But, you know, once again, those things are incredibly dated. And then right here, an AH-1J, once again, pretty dated. So, you know, while it's okay, I guess in comparison to the rest of their attack helicopter force, it's decent, a subpar, but not that bad compared to the rest of them. Compare this to a helicopter anywhere else in the world, and it doesn't even compare. This thing doesn't even get close. And you can see that they're trying to pad their numbers in terms of their helicopter forces with these things over time. But how in the world can you even get away with that and people believe it with a straight face? And that's the problem why, really, at the end of it all, even though this is by far the ugliest helicopter, and this video is about it being the ugliest and the worst helicopter ever, it still is part of the reason why a lot of people here in America and around the world think that Iran is some kind of a burgeoning military power, is because numbers are being inflated with helicopters like these, and they can have 200 helicopters on paper, and people think they're similar to an Apache, but they're really these little ugly things that can't carry any rockets, only carry a machine gun, and has one pilot in it, and it's literally just a Bell 206, like this one right here, used by the LAPD. That's all it is. And it's just sad. It really is. So anyways, not going to go on about that any longer. I just had to share with y'all the worst helicopter I have ever seen being used by anyone in the world, and I hope y'all enjoyed watching this. If you did, make sure to leave a like below, and also comment in the comment section, and subscribe. Subscribe helps you to keep in touch with all the videos that we put out. Also, if you would like to support these little video projects, make sure to click on our Patreon, link in the description below, and support us there, which helps us to continue to make these kinds of video projects. And so with that, I thank you so much once again for watching, and that, right there, is the worst helicopter in the world. I'll see y'all in the next one.